There been any highlights or big moments aside from talking to me?
I mean, this is really the highlight of the
I had
tour.
a feeling. Yo, 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 yo! What's going on? Thanks for tuning in to the Jesse Lee Show with me, Jesse Lee. This week I've got Pierre from Simple Plan on the show. Now, I went to see their gig with The Offspring in Sum 41, and I also, of course, interviewed Noodles from The Offspring. That episode is up last week. So here's the episode with Pierre. I was waiting backstage because I was actually supposed to be interviewing Jeff, their guitarist. I had all my questions written out for Jeff. You know, there were a lot of bald-related questions in there because, you know, we're fellow bald brothers. So I was going to really dive into that. But I'm sitting there waiting for the interview to start. And a security guard for I believe The Offspring kind of rushed me up a little bit, you know, and not really. No, he just told me to stop filming because I was hanging. I didn't look like a person that should be backstage, I guess, at that point. I was just a very seedy looking guy, so I got yelled at a little bit. Had to stop filming for a second, and then Pierre rolls up on me in his pajama pants and his t-shirt, and I'm like, what's good? What's up? What's good, man? He's like, are we doing this interview? And I'm like, are we? You and I right now? I'm like, fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's go. So yeah, I got to interview Pierre. It was unexpected and it was awesome. I had a great time. Found out a lot of really cool things about Simple Plan I didn't know, and Pierre in general. Turns out he's not a huge fan of one of Simple Plan's biggest songs. So you just have to listen and find out what that spicy take is. And if there's any other questions you have for Pierre, you know, drop them in the comments and maybe, you know, he'll see this and we can get them answered. But until then, enjoy this little chat with Pierre. So I thought I was going to be talking to your guitarist, Jeff. So I have a lot of bald-related questions.
Oh, yeah. Well,
so I'm going to have to...
I can't answer to that one.
What kind of follicle treatment? No. We'll move on. Okay. So I'm going to ask a spicy question, you know, to really divide the viewers right off the bat.
Okay.
Pineapple on pizza, how do you feel?
Ooh, well, I don't mind it, but I don't request it. My wife is obsessed with it. I never really got it. So I can eat pretty much anything. Yeah. So I don't hate it. But if you ask me with or without, I would say without. Right. What about you?
So, I love pineapple on pizza. Yeah.
Well, my wife, you get along with my wife then.
Well, my wife hates it too. So,
there you go.
Yeah, I think
maybe
the four of us could share a great pie together, I think.
I like it.
It'd be good. So, you guys have been on this tour for a little bit now. Have there been any highlights or big moments aside from talking to me? Has there been anything that you're like really excited about?
I mean, this is really the highlight of the tour.
I had a feeling, yeah.
But, you know, second place. You know, it's hard to say because they've all been so great. I think everybody, you know, all the bands, promoters, everyone is really pleasantly surprised on how well. We knew it's going to do well, but it's really doing incredible. Like we've played for 15, 16, 17, 18, 19,000 people a night, and the crowds have been great. I feel like the bill, to me, when I try to look at the show as a whole, you know, Sum 41, Simple Plan, Offspring, there's a lot of hits there. You know what I mean? So as I think as a listener, you're sitting there going like, I know that song and that song and that, and it's all night long. So I think it's really great. So yeah, I don't know if there's any highlights. The shows, the people, the crowds have been incredible all the way through.
Yeah, dude. Like you said, like hit after hit. Like
there's a lot of them.
All three bands have not just like a few hits, like multiple albums with multiple hits on each album. Yeah,
it's good.
It's you can literally sing along your entire night.
Pretty much.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, my girlfriend loved you guys. She was super into you guys. Put you on the CD player all the time. I was like Taking Back Sunday, Senses Fail.
You're like, I like heavier stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, these guys, they're too pop. Yeah. But then I'm like, I'll do anything. You know, I couldn't.
So damn catchy.
Couldn't stop. Did you guys face a lot of like people like you weren't punk enough for the punk kids? Did you have a lot of that coming up?
100%. You know, actually, it's funny because over time, I feel like that's gone away because I think that we all kind of grow up and realize that those things are ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, when the band first started, we had a very divided crowd, and we'd play Warped Tour from the get-go, 2002 onwards, and there was a lot of people that were there for us and a lot of people that were there to just hate us. You know, it was so funny. We even had an article, we did a cover of Alternative Press magazine. It was like the band you love to hate, because it's
sounds
crazy.
Like an AP cover.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like it's one of those things where, you know, I think it's when you're doing really well, I look at it in this way: if there's a lot of people that don't like you, you must be doing well. Because
Right.
if you weren't popular enough, they wouldn't even know about you. But in the beginning, it was a big deal, But we always felt like, hey, we grew up on Warped Tour, we grew up on all these bands, we want to stay in that world, even though we are pop here. And always had those songs. Like our records had a lot of like heavier songs, but a lot of the singles would end up being the poppy songs. But now it's funny because after 20 plus years, sometimes I see bands that are like heavy bands now,
Right.
and they were like, dude, when I was 10 years old, I was obsessed with your band. I'm like, oh, cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So we're kind of like the gateway drug for people that are getting into pop
Yeah.
punk, you know what I mean? Then they get into hardcore afterwards. So
100%. No, I agree. I think the tide has definitely turned. I think like the whole dividing line of genres is really non-existent these days.
I mean, there was a lot of hate back in those days, and especially if you go back into the '90s, there was a lot of like, this is not cool. You're a sellout. You're this, and now in the 2020s,
Yeah.
people are like, we're a little more accepting of everyone else's opinions, everyone else's
sure.
styles, and it's more like, I may not like what you like, and that's okay.
Well, speaking of like the resurgence of emo and pop punk and the tides turning,
Mm-hmm.
like when the whole, just a kid like hashtag blew up the viral trend, like were you guys aware of what was happening, or were you just like, what the fuck, streams are up, like what's happening?
No, I'm embarrassed to say that we had no idea. I wasn't even on TikTok. The band wasn't on TikTok,
Yeah.
and it was our good friend Jarrett from Bowling for Soup, singer Jay Reddick.
I just interviewed him last week.
Oh, there you
Dude,
go.
I love Jared.
And
Yeah.
he literally texted me. I can probably look back and find it. The text between him, Chuck, and I, and he's like, "Hey guys, you guys know that your song "I'm Just a Kid" is kind of blown up on TikTok?" And we're like, "Whatever, TikTok.
Yeah.
That's a Musically thing."
Right,
Whatever, I don't
right,
care."
yeah.
And
People
then like
shaking ass.
yeah, and then like 4 or 5 months later, he texted again. He's like, "Dude, this is like, you should probably pay
Yeah.
attention to this." And so we did, and we're like, "Oh my God, this is like serious numbers." And we got on and did it. And then like, yeah, the song has gone from, I think it was like maybe close to 100 million spins, and now it's like over 200 million
Oh,
spins
yeah.
over the course of a couple of years. A song that's 20 plus years old. So, but we didn't really know. What the cool thing is that it kind of made us aware of TikTok and that whole approach to social media, and it has kind of like shifted how we do things. And even
Yeah.
like with Instagram and Reels and all that kind of stuff, now we have a person on the road with us that does all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's been really kind of a nice sort of moment to make us realize the power of a viral moment and what it could do, and trying to hop on that, because a lot of people that are maybe 15 years old heard the I'm Just a Kid challenge, didn't know we had
Right.
6 albums with tons of great songs. So we have to like try to capture that moment and be like, hey, we got a lot more stuff,
Yeah.
So it's been
Well,
great.
and like I loved I'm Just a Kid when I was like younger, but like
Yeah.
that wasn't my go-to song for you guys.
Yeah, and even for me, it's not the one that I don't even like it that much. You know what I mean?
You heard it here first. No, like I'm surprised that was. But again, it's
Yeah.
such like a universal thing. Like it's any great movie. It's got a great plot. It's a relatable story. Like,
Yeah.
At some point, everybody's just a kid. And
Yeah.
Parents, life's a nightmare, and all that.
And I think it reminds me a little bit, like, I feel like a lot of people that are maybe in their 20s and 30s now grew up on cartoons that had a pop punk edge to them. Like
Yeah,
either it
for
was What's New
sure.
Scooby Doo, that we had the theme
100%.
song for it. So it's those likable songs that, yes, they're super poppy and they're very catchy, but they're universal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm Just a Kid could have been a theme song for a cartoon.
Oh, 100%.
And people now are embracing that because they grew up on that stuff. It's like
Yeah.
even like with my kids, there's a TV show called Vampirina, and I just
Yeah.
love
Oh,
the theme
yeah.
song.
My kid's all about that.
Hey,
Dude, it's so catchy,
Vampirina.
man.
It's so great,
Yeah, well, also Patrick Stump's just killing the game, writing all the fucking Disney.
Is he?
Oh yeah, he did Spuddy and then his friends. And
No
Mickey
way.
Friends. He did the Lego Batman theme song.
Oh, that's
Dude,
awesome. Good
just
for him.
Fall out like bangers left and right
That's
on Disney
amazing. I love it.
cartoons.
I love it.
Yeah. So speaking of that, like, do you feel like you're comfortable just going down as being the Scooby Doo band? Is that your claim to fame?
I mean, the funniest thing is that we did that theme song.
So long.
Yeah, it was so long ago, and we kind of used to like not be embarrassed by it, but we never used to talk about it. We never used to
Yeah.
use it.
I've
We
noticed
never
you guys
used.
are embracing a
We
lot
never
more
used
now.
to play it,
Yeah.
and then finally we realized like
Yeah.
it's cool. People literally found out about Simple Plan through that
Yeah.
theme song, and people love to hear it. So
Yeah.
I think we've all, I don't know, we not to say that we were embarrassed by it, but we didn't want that to be our like,
Right, your
this is
lasting
who we
legacy,
are.
yeah.
And now maybe because we've had a 20-year career where we've had hits and we've sold records and sold concert tickets,
Yeah.
we can feel like we can embrace this without just being that.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I love the Scooby Doo song. It's so much fun, and I just love that you guys do embrace it because there's so many bands that wouldn't. There'd be
Yeah.
like, kind of like D heads about it. Like I'm not gonna play that song. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like I like that you guys like we're gonna play what we want, but we're also gonna give the fans what they want. They came to see us.
Yeah, and I think we're here to provide people with a good time.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like, I think it's people like to hear that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and that's why we always play all of our hits. We don't, we could stop playing I'm Just a Kid, but why would we? It's like,
people love it.
yeah, exactly. We'll play all the songs.
So do you feel like since like especially with the whole like boom of the resurgence of the emo and pop punk scene from the 2000s, obviously people are finding out about you now and falling in love with your old stuff, and then obviously people like me who are like old as shit are like, oh my god, I'm so excited to hear more Simple Plan. And like, do you find it hard to be like, but guys, we got new songs, we got new stuff, they're good too? Is it hard to kind of like get people like to move away from the nostalgia and get into the new stuff sometimes?
To me, I don't find it difficult because I embrace whatever people like about us, and I think that I see it as like new music is for the super fans.
Yeah.
New music is for the fans that just live and breathe Simple Plan, and we want to give them what they want. But when we go play a show, a lot of people are there because they know 2 songs or 3 songs, so you want to give them the ones that they know. So is it hard? I'm not that kind of guy. There's bands like Radiohead that for the longest time wouldn't play Creep or stuff like that. Like I'm just not that guy. I'm like, it doesn't bother me.
Nice.
And I think we have a great new record, and I love it. And personally, I don't really want to play a show where I play that whole record.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather like sprinkle in 4 or 5 songs of that new record, and then play Welcome to My Life and play the songs that people know, and that way it makes for a more entertaining show.
I agree.
That's the way that I see it.
It's got to be a good mix. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah. All right, one last fireball question
Yep.
here. An alien crash lands to our planet. You got to convince them to stay with one pop punk song. What is the greatest pop punk song in the world? First one that comes to mind. It could be a Simple Plan song.
Well, the first one that came to mind as soon as you said that, I don't know why, but I always, like, when I think pop punk, I think opening song from Enema of the State, Dumpweed.
There you go. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's just the most incredible intro ever.
Yeah.
2 riffs back to back into a great song. That's the one I go with.
That's the one. That's a class. And, Tom likes aliens, so that works
Exactly.
out.
You said it, and I immediately thought Dumpweed. I don't know why.
Well, he might just be all ingrained in our heads now when it comes to pop punk and aliens.
Love it.
All
Tom
right.
was right all along.
He was right. All right, Pierre, thanks so much for chatting to us. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with us on the Jesse Lee Show.
A pleasure. Thank you.